Hello there, I will be showing you how to get started on Gladiator Guild Manager. This game is basically a strategy based game with, units inside an arena and they fight to the death. And what you want to do is basically every arena you want to improve your units to make them stronger so you can survive the next, arena fight. And there are many other interactions on there, like for example events and all that stuff. I will be showing you that later. This game is still early access, so there's still more stuff to come. And yeah, let's get started. Alright guys, this is the start where you click play and then you just see this. Of course there's gonna be a tutorial guide, but we're not here for a tutorial. We're here to show you the basics of the game. And if you want to, read the storyline and stuff, it's all in the game. You gotta, get the game, Anyways, on the top you can see we have gold and all these materials. What gold does is you can buy gladiators and items, and these are basically the stuff you bring to the arena to fight with, and you equip items to make your gladiator stronger. What these materials do is, if you go in guild right here, you can see all these buildings, and these buildings basically make your gladiators stronger by giving them more items. Like this item inventory slots for characters, and if you upgrade these they'll give you more item slots, and this allows you to unlock new units. For example, this fire tower allows me to get pyromancers, and this one gives me a frost unit. I can only hire 3 right now: the knight, the archer, and the berserker. And if you can see on the bottom, there is gladiator slots. If you want to buy more gladiators, you don't need to use this right now because you're new and you don't have that much gold. And then there's item slots also, which increase on the left side if you want to upgrade that. Alright, let's look at the left hand side. This is the relationship with other tribes. To improve their relationship, you gotta do events right here, and these events are events that ask you for favors and train and all that stuff. And if you get high relationship with them, they might give you some rewards. Also, if you can see in the middle right here is a day. Day is very important because it'll show events like this one where it updates the market in the gladiator field. And also days are important for the time. Right now it says available because we just started, but it'll have a timer, and these days will vary. Now let's move on towards the market. Alright, let's start with the gladiator market. The gladiator market is a place where you can buy your gladiators. A few things to keep in mind is you can check the stats, and I will be explaining these stats later on. But what you need to know is the troops, the type of troops that they give you. So they give you berserkers and knights and all these stuff. Those are the only ones you can buy because the guild, you haven't unlocked new characters. You have to build new stuff. But anyways, you can see that we have berserkers, and some of them have different stats. Like for example, this one, it has an old vampire which restores health based on how much damage you do, which is a really good thing. And there's different prices for each too. For example, this one costs 500, probably because it has a good stat. After defending from an attack, it restores stamina. That's really good, so that's why it's so expensive. Usually in the beginning you want to start off with melee characters like the knights, so I'll buy one right here, and also the berserker. And sometimes they are cheap because they have bad traits. For example, this one only costs 60, but he gains XP 20% slower, which is not a good long-term investment, I would say. You want to buy guys that are more more dependable, let's say that. And the levels also includes with the price. For example, this one costs 225, but let's buy him. Alright, let's move onwards. Let's buy an archer also. Well, nah, she has a bad trait. You can see by the red. Anyways, let's go on to the item market. So here we are, the item market. What the item markets do is you could buy these weapons to improve your character strength and like all these stats. There's health, strength, all that stuff. I'm gonna buy an axe and a chest plate. Now I'll be putting it on the berserker. I like the berserker because, you know, it's like high damage melee character. He can carry your team. The knight is more of like a tank that defends. He doesn't do that much damage, but he still like does something. But yeah, these items will improve your stats. Now let's move on to what the stats do. Alright, here we are at stats, and these are all the stats that we have. And I'll be showing you the basics of the stats. So every single spell, as you can show here, this one is a melee attack and this one's a block. So that's what the knight has. And his damage, of course, is dependent on his strength and agility. And you can see the math here if you want to, you know, be a nerd about the math. There's also execution time, which is how fast he can attack. So like basically the time it takes for him to attack. And the cooldown is like the resting time between. And you know, execution time is dependent on agility, and intelligence is dependent on cooldown. Similarly, same thing with the shield. The more strength and agility you have, the more you can block. And the cooldown is dependent on intelligence. And this, you know, varies with the berserker. The berserker has more spells, but he wastes a lot of stamina because all these spells have a stamina cost, as you can see right here. It also shows you the range if you want to know. And you know, this guy without stamina, he cannot use his abilities, pretty much. All right, now let's move on to Archer. Archer is a pretty special type because she has damage, but she also has accuracy, which is dependent on agility. So you want to, you know, be an agility type of person if you're playing Archer. Agility and strength, of course. The cooldown, intelligence, and this is if the opponents get closer. But health is pretty self-explanatory. It's basically how much damage a troop can take before it dies. Movement is how fast the unit moves. And that's pretty much for the basics of this game. Alright guys, enough with the talking. I've explained enough. Let's move on to the main mechanic of the game, which is the arena. As you can see, this is the Ring of the Death. You can click on here and there's various options you can choose from. So, you know, you can read all of these if you want, but I'll be showing you the 3v3 because, you know, it's the most simple one, and I have 3 units right now. So when we click accept, you can see that I see the enemy side. There's knights and archers. What I can do is also mirror it by doing this to basically mirror and just like hope the best that my team is just stronger. Or you can do like a strategy where you focus on one point to focus on this guy and then just dominate the team. There's many positions you can choose from and many units. If you have more slots, you can choose more units and you can buy more units in the Gladiator shop, of course. But let's start the fight. Alright, as you can see, I'm focused on this guy. He dies first. And then next, this guy's gonna die. While my archer's hitting the back line. And of course, it's, you know, it's 1 for 3, so it's not too bad. And you get the victory loot at the end. Gives you a potion. And you can just collect it here. And these are where your items are stored. Alright guys, that's pretty much it from me. This is you know, a guide on how to get started. And if you follow these guides, you can actually, you know, get started pretty quickly, and you know what to do. You don't have to spend a lot of time, you know, figuring out the game. And pretty much there's mechanics like reviving, which, you know, you have to wait for 4 days. And to revive, which you just play on this is how you start the day. And just do the events, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.